The Montreal Canadiens looked to rebound tonight, and it didn't happen. As a matter of fact, it was a complete, utter meltdown and disaster. It was a disaster for Jakub Dobeš, who gave up 5 goals after 2 periods, and he was pulled to start the third. It wasn't a very good night for Samuel Montembeault, who gave up a goal in the first shot that he faced and gave up a couple of goals in period number 3. It was a really bad night for Lane Hutson, who finished the night -4. He was -3 the game prior to that, a combined -7 in the last 2 games. The Montreal Canadiens' number 1 line did not produce. As a matter of fact, no one produced. And some mind-boggling decisions in terms of ice time, in terms of lines, in terms of utilization on the power play. And now all of a sudden you have 2 goalies who are completely messed up. This thing went from something amazing to very, very preoccupying in the last week or so. What is going on in Montreal? Pierre McGuire is going to begin to try to tackle it. Bad night, including Alex Newhook gets tripped, goes into the boards, and he labors off the ice, helped by his teammates in what appears to be either a right knee or a right ankle injury. We'll probably know a little bit more tomorrow. For now, what we know is the Canadiens lost by a score of 7-0. If you used to watch the Harlem Globetrotters when they played the Washington Generals, well, tonight, the Dallas Stars were the Harlem Globetrotters, and your Montreal Canadiens were the Washington Generals. There's going to be no shortage of things to talk about, no shortage of opinions. It's coming up. Pierre McGuire will join me, and so will Brian Wilde for Global TV Montreal. He's at the Bell Center. Your Habs postgame show is coming up right now on the Sick Podcast. I'm Marinaro.
It's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K, S-I-C-K, S-I-C-K, S-I-C-K, S-I-C-K.
all in, we came here to win. We're gonna
because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement, et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro on this Thursday night, November 13th, the Canadiens got obliterated by a score of 7-0. We're going to get to it. The Sick Podcast brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, a leading asset light 3PL is driven to be different from cross-border freight between Canada, USA, and Mexico. Coast-to-coast shipping in both Canada and the United States. Energy moves it all. They're fast, reliable, and powered by tech that delivers smarter logistics. If you need a real partner in transportation, contact the team at sick@shipenergy.com and see how Energy Transportation Group is changing the freight game. I'm going to get to all of our sponsors between now and the end of the show, but I want to get at it. Pierre McGuire is standing by. Brian Wilde will join us a little bit later on. Let's get to Pierre right now.
The McGuire Report. Presented by Vago Italian.
Oh, yeah. Pierre McGuire is brought to you by Vago Italian. He was there actually earlier today with Jimmy Murphy, and they were recording, going live with the Sick Podcast, the eye test. And I think they had a bite to eat there as well. Pierre looks like he's in a happy mood, so I'm pretty sure that he was very pleased with the way things went today at Vago, open 23 years. Pierre McGuire's been going there a long time. Longevity, not many restaurants are open that long, and one of the things that makes them special is Tommaso is the most popular man in Westmount at the front of the house. He's pretty much there all the time. I haven't spoken to Pierre yet, but I'd be willing to bet that he was there earlier today as well, and this evening. Private dining rooms for any occasion, birthdays, engagements, corporate meetings, plenty of free parking after 6, open Monday to Saturday evenings, and lunch Tuesday to Friday. Fresh quality ingredients, old world Italian classics, and new Italian. It's Vago Italian, and they are awesome. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Pierre McGuire, I'm sure you coached in some of these games that went your favor, lopsided scores, and probably a game or two that went against you. Pierre, we knew that the Canadiens were playing with fire, that their record probably wasn't what it should have been, that they were winning games based on their power play or their first line or Jakub Dobiš standing on his head or quick strike offense or being opportunistic. 55% of the time, the puck is pinned in their zone. They only have about 24 shots on goal on average going into tonight's game. Last game, it caught up with them. Clearly, yesterday's practice didn't do enough, Pierre. It bit them tonight even more. 7-0, Pierre. 7-0.
Well, yeah, and then you look at what happened with the Los Angeles Kings the other night. This is a problem right now. Team defense is a problem. Puck management's a problem. Players understanding their roles is a problem. Missing the net in quality scoring areas is a big problem. The injury to Newhook is going to be a big problem for this team. They're not getting consistent offense from their top line, which is really important for this group. They miss Caden Gooley unbelievably. I am shocked in a marketplace that really understands hockey how much the Caden Gooley injury has been overlooked. I'm absolutely shocked by it. It's a massive problem for this team. And I just want to present this to all our viewers and listeners. If you're going to tell me how tough certain guys are on this team, that's great. They need to win. If you want to be a tough guy and play in the league, you need to win fights. You need to win fights. You tell me one guy on this team that's winning fights right now. You tell me one guy.
I have a feeling you're talking about Arbor Jackai.
You're correct.
who wanted to go after Lyubushkin after Lyubushkin tripped Alex Newhook in what looks to be like a serious injury. And he wanted to go after him, and he did. And Lyubushkin said, you know what, I don't want to fight you, but if I am, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you in a headlock. I'm just going to take you to the ice. And that's the way it ended.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, like, we need Montreal Canadiens fans and players need to identify what your identity is with the team. What's your identity? Arber's not there to get points. Please don't tell me that. Arber's there to make good passes, be solid defensively, and be an intimidating factor in the game. Who's intimidated by him in the last 2 games? 2 big, heavy teams. Nobody's been intimidated by him. And I'm not just picking on Arber, because that's grossly unfair by me.
Obviously, Arber is the least of their problems right now because they didn't lose because of him. Correct. And I understand what you're saying. Look, I'm gonna take it a step further. You know, the way the team have a drop in confidence right now, and the goalies have a drop in confidence. I think Arber Xhekaj's got a drop in confidence. I think if you take a look at his last 3 fights versus Carrick versus Delorier, and tonight wasn't much of a fight, but I know what you're trying to get at. If he has to go after Lyubushkin, he has to lay down the law and lay the smack down, and it didn't happen. I think he's lost a little bit of his swagger.
Well, that's tough. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, I don't know what the management's philosophy is with this group, but Toronto didn't shake the tree quick enough, and look at the free fall they're in. I'm telling, and I say this all the time on the Toronto shows I do. Toronto needed to shake the tree about 10 to 12 days ago. They chose not to do it, and look where they are right now. And I'm telling you, Tony, I watch this team all the time, Montreal. Watch them all the time. If they don't shake the tree soon, whether it's sending a guy down to the American Hockey League, whether it's making an acquisition, whether it's calling somebody up, they better do something, because if you're going to accept this as a management group and a coaching staff, you are in big trouble.
You know what it looks like they need right now? A goalie. And I'm not saying they're not going to turn it around. And by all means, if you don't score, you can't win. So they need more than a goalie. But Pierre, right now, the goalies, they can't make a save, Pierre. They can't make a save. And Jakub Dobeš, I mean, let's put the cards on the table. Dobeš gave up 5 goals on 13 shots tonight. His save percentage was .615. The game before that, his save percentage was .857. The game before that, his save percentage was .857. The game before that, his save percentage was .903 or whatever it was. I mean, Dobeš's save percentage, I think, is like .830 something in the last 4 games. Not good enough. But I have to ask you the question, Pierre. At one point, he was red hot. But there was a sector in this city that was saying, you have to play Montembeault. He can't sit on the bench. You got to play Montembeault or else you're going to affect his confidence. You got to play Montembeault. He can't go a couple of weeks without playing games. You can't play you have to play Montembeault. He can't miss 3 games in a row. And we kept on hearing it and hearing it. So what happened? They got Montembeault in, and he won his game versus the Ottawa Senators. But he was shaky. And then it almost seems like, and then they got him in there the next game as well, and he was a little shaky. And then it almost seems like they made Dobeš cool off, and when he went in, he looked cold. And then his confidence started to get affected. And now you have 2 goalies whose confidence is low. And I have to ask you, Pierre, and I'm not saying that they're Dryden and Tretiak. I get it. They're not. And everyone knows that. But was there a mistake here in the way they were managed and the way they were played?
I didn't want, Sam to play the last game. I said that to you. I said it to Max Lapierre. They played Montembeault the last game. I didn't want that. And I think they got guys out of rhythm. That all being said, and this is just trying to be fair, I don't think that's the be-all and end-all. If guys are that weak mentally, then I'm not sure they're going to be the answer to your situation long-term anyways. But this is really important. I want to know why Dobeš reacted the way he did in New Jersey with the tears and the emotion in an overtime loss.
You think there's something to it, eh?
I do, and I said it to you that night.
Yes.
I know I did. Yes,
you said it to me that night, that it's more than a goalie just losing a game.
I did. I know I said that to you because I've been around this league 37 years. Like that's a weird reaction after a regular season game in New Jersey when you've been on an unbelievable roll as a goalie. Like there's something to that.
He tried to explain it yesterday by saying, hey, the Devils beat me that same way last year. And I said to myself, it's never going to happen again. And it did. I was really down on myself. The players had fun with it. They mocked me. Like once we got in the plane, all was good. But I'm an emotional guy, more emotional than the others. But I hear you, Pierre. I hear you. Look, and Marty St. Louis having to tell the media that, you know what, he's not worried about his goalies. He's okay with his goalies. He hasn't lost confidence in the goalies. When you have to say stuff like that, and I get he's being asked questions, but I don't think anyone's confident with the goalies right now. And once again, they're not like Pierre. Lane Hutson was -4 tonight.
Hey, what was he, -3 the other night?
He's been a combined -7 in the last 2 games, Pierre. I mean, Lane Hutson's a phenom. Like you're the president of the Lane Hutson fan club, and I'm the vice president. And when he has the puck, he does amazing things, but it's a couple of games now that, and look, some of them he's not to blame, right? They're down in the hockey game. He decides to go for it. He makes the right move. He makes the right play. He's trying to shoot. He's trying to manufacture offense. And Juraj Slafkovsky's heading back to the bench instead of covering the last guy back. He's got to cover for Lane Hutson, Pierre.
I'm not going to argue with anything you say. Identity is a big problem right now. All these guys have lost their identity. They forgot what their role was with the team, and they need to be snapped to attention. And that's why I'm telling you, it's a lot like Toronto right now. They need something to shake the tree. They need something to get the identity back to this team, just like Toronto needs to do. And I'm telling you, Tony, you got a problem here. Tony, you got a problem here. I'm telling you, you got a problem here.
And but with Alex Newhook's injury, a player is going to be called up. But I guess what you're saying, Pierre, is, Tony, the problem is bigger. Like calling up a Jared Davidson's not going to fix this thing here.
No, come on. Like, let's be serious. Jared Davidson had a chance to make this. And I can speak to this. I got a kid that's toiling in the minor leagues right now. He's got a broken foot. I get how it works. I've been in this league a long time. I get how it all works. Guys have to. But if you think the answer is coming from the American Hockey League to change the dynamic of your team, come on. Let's get serious. Like, let's be honest. That's not the difference between winning and losing. It's about guys forgetting their identity. These guys have lost their identity.
I'm going to bring in Brian Wilde, but man, do I have a question for you. Let's get to Brian right now.
Brian Wilde, presented by Fruiterie de Lard. Fresh foods and flavors for over 30 years.
And Brian Wilde is brought to you by Fruiterie de Lard, a family-run business, a mainstay in the LaSalle community since 1995. Proud to continue offering the same fresh foods and flavors they have for the past 30 years. From fresh fruits and produce delivered daily to an ever-expanding assortment of deli meats, cheeses, and sandwiches, you'll find personalized service and friendly faces that make you feel like family at Fruiterie de Lard. Brian Wilde, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good, but you know what? Tonight was one of those nights where I would have loved to have been in that locker room. Not to take any pleasure in it whatsoever, Brian, but you know that when there's a big loss like this, you go in and look, you want to feel how real it is. And some players are going to give you the company line, and you've heard it before. But some others are going to just spill their heart and spill their guts and spill their soul and tell you what's on their mind. And there could be some frustration coming out of the coaches' press conference as well. I'm wondering, Brian, who did you speak to, and what do you have for us tonight?
Well, Mike Matheson would give you a little of the frustration. He said that tonight was embarrassing. Brendan Gallagher looked at it in terms of feeling as if they have lost their identity, which is what Pierre said, and they're confident that they've been down this road before and they can get it back. He did add as well something about Newhook that I found very interesting, because I asked the head coach, Martin St. Louis, in the press conference just now, can we get a little bit of an update on Newhook? And he said they know nothing at all. Now, I've been in this business a very long time, and I'll tell you, the more that there is nothing to tell you, the worse that it is.
1,000%
agree.
When it's nothing, they tell you it's nothing serious.
Totally agree.
So that we got like not even an infinitesimal amount of how it is in terms of severe or light, like not even one word is not very encouraging. But even more so from Gallagher, he said, I feel for him. That's not a good sentence in terms of how serious this is. When
Yeah.
Brendan was asked, "How's Alex?" he answered, "Well, I feel for him." That's not a very positive answer in terms of what this could be. Speculation, of course, is very hard to have right now, but I will a little bit because I always fancy myself a bit of a doctor after doing this a long time. Speculation is it could be his knee or it could be his ankle, but I will say that he put weight on his knee when he got up. He turned over, he put his knee against the ice. If that was his pain center, he wouldn't do that. So I'm going to guess ankle. Any injury to the ankle is severe, whether it's a sprain or a break. It's a long time
I
out.
have the same guess as you, Brian. And by the way, he talks to Oliver Kapanen. Kapanen looks over right away and motions.
That's
okay,
it.
You got to come. He needs help. He knows. Newhook knows that there's something
It's
wrong
bad.
with that ankle.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he feels it. He heard
Yeah.
it. He told Kapanen. He calls the trainer. And look, let's put the cards on the table right now for a guy who doesn't always get the love. Alex Newhook played fantastic hockey in the first 17 games of the season.
Best hockey of his career, actually.
You're 1,000% right. A +7 to show for it as well. And you know what? He was a very valuable member of the Canadiens, and we hope for Alex all the best and that he's not going to be out of lineup way too long. Pierre McGuire, Brian Wilde, I want you to stay here because I got a question for Pierre.
Yes,
Pierre
I heard you mention that.
This team is not playing to their identity. Pierre McGuire, I got a question for you. Is it possible that Arbor Jackeye and Jaden Struble, for example, are playing the way Marty St. Louis wants them to play, but that's not what makes them the most effective? That's not the way they want to play, and I get it. They can't play the way they want to play. They got to play the way the coach wants them to play. I understand all of that too. But can it be that they're not playing to their identity because they've been asked to play a different way?
I think anything's possible, but I'd be surprised if Marty did that. I think Marty doesn't want to see the team, those two guys in particular, take bad penalties, especially, senseless roughing penalties behind the play. But I do think he wants them to be intimidating factors in a game because that's why they're there. But I'm going to say something, and Brian knows this because he's around this team all the time, and he's a way better voice than I am on this. I personally think this whole Caden Gooley thing is way underplayed. They miss Caden Gooley unbelievably because he's an actual player that can play, and you don't have to worry about him. And because of that, Struble's getting more ice time. Jackeye's playing behind Struble. Struble's beating out Jackeye.
Guys are in different chairs.
Yeah, and Jackye's afraid now, I think, to do something that's going to get him in trouble with the coaches, to your point, Tony. But I think the biggest thing in all this, what you just said, is they miss Caden Gooley. And I'm just saying that because I watch it, and I've watched Caden Gooley a long time, going back to when he played in Prince Albert, going back to when he played in Edmonton. I'm just telling you, I think they miss Caden Gooley a ton.
And Caden Gooley adds a physical presence, and that's what the team lacks. Like we talked about this on Tuesday night, Pierre. You were having audio issues at the time, but what we were discussing then was the fact that I believe the Kings were the third most physical team in the league by weight, and the Dallas Stars are the fourth most.
Correct.
And so now you got a guy like Caden Gooley, who's not a large man, but he plays big. I mean, he levels hits right in the open ice. He scares the crap out of people because he's so unpredictable when he is going to level hits. So physically, they miss him, and then obviously intelligently, they miss him. He's the 4D on the team, and now Struble is trying to be a number 4D, and he's not quite that.
No, I agree 100%. Couldn't agree more.
Pierre, you the coach, and we're going to get to Brian's clips. Actually, why don't we do that now? Why don't we get to Suzuki's clip, and why don't we get to Matheson's clip?
I don't want too much concern to creep in, but we got to clean things up and get back to the basics of what makes our team successful, and that's playing with the puck, forechecking, being a hungry team, and aggressive team. And I think recently we've backed off on the aggressiveness and just kind of been sitting back a little bit too much defensively.
And guys, you know what? Okay, there's Nick Suzuki. The Canadiens are playing their worst hockey when Nick Suzuki has been taking therapy days because he's laboring. He's hurt, guys.
Well,
Yeah,
I think it's from the shot block, right, Brian? Is it from the shot block?
That's exactly where.
I'll
Exactly
connect
where.
you.
And
I'll
on
connect you,
Tuesday
yeah.
night, I happened to be finishing up with you when I walked back the other way underneath the concourse, getting ready to leave here, and I happened to see Nick walking the other direction. So I watched him walk for a good 10 seconds, and he was walking with a limp noticeably. Now, obviously, skating and walking are two different things, but one can translate. If you can't walk normally, then there might be some issues skating as well.
Yeah. Mike Matheson, do we have him?
Or not. I think both guys are important pieces to our team, and I know there's a lot of attention on kind of that whole thing. I think it's just like any other two players on our team that they're trying their very best to give everything they can to the success of the team, just like I am.
All right, there you have it. There's Mike Matheson on the difficulty the goaltenders are going through right now. Brian, what was the mood like in the coach's press conference?
Actually, kind of quite different than the room. Like I just finished saying, Mike said he was embarrassed, and Gallagher's or Suzuki, you just heard what his thoughts were, feeling like they're really getting away from their identity. But Martin St. Louis didn't actually think that his team played a terrible game. He wanted to assess it more, and he wanted to look at some film, but he thought they played a pretty strong first period. And it said, not that he said that they felt like they should have won, but he did say he certainly didn't think it was a 7-0 game. So that was his assessment. He didn't he wasn't ready to hammer his own troops tonight.
Brian, fantastic stuff. And guess
Really
what?
good.
You're going to be my guest tomorrow night on the Sick Podcast.
Looking forward to it.
All
Pierre,
right.
good to see you.
Great
Thank
seeing you, Brian. Thank
there
you.
you have it. Brian Wilde,
Cheers.
live from the Bell Center in Montreal. Pierre, you coached in the league for a long time. You're down, and you're down big. And on the second wave of the power, you need to score a goal because you scored one goal last game. You need to start getting everyone's confidence back up. You need to start showing some fight. Would you put on the ice, with all due respect to him, because I love the guy, a player who going into the game had 0 goals, 0 assists,
-5,
0 points.
-5.
He's a -8 now.
Yep.
He's got 10 shots in the 12 games that he's played, so he's got less shots than any forward per games played. Can you begin to explain to me Joe Veleno on the second wave of the power play?
No, it's too easy to just point at him as being a problem. It's not him. I just think the coach understood that at that point the game was lost, and I just think he was trying to give somebody an opportunity to try to play his way out of trouble. So I actually respect that by Marty. I really do. I think
Okay.
I kind of understand. I kind of understand as a coach that's done it what he's trying to do. Here's my biggest concern right now. Joe's not a fourth line player. Joe's not even a third. If Joe's not in your top 6, Joe's not going to make a difference. This is why I think, Florian Jack, I know his numbers have been underwhelming in the American Hockey League, but there's an identity that he presents as a fourth line or a third line player. I'll give you an example tonight. Josh Anderson sometimes goes squirrely, okay? Sometimes he does. He went squirrely tonight because Bishop was abusing him, and he couldn't handle it, and he was frustrated, so he did a silly thing, and he chopped him down. And we've seen that before from Josh. So if Josh knows that because Josh knows right now nobody's taking his job. He knows that. You know that. The fans know that. But there's one guy that could take his job. There's one guy in the organization that could take his job. It's Florian Jack-Eye.
Well, yes and no. They're not going to put Josh Anderson's $5.5 million this year and next year in the stands.
No, he's not going in the stands, but he might go to the fourth line.
He's on the fourth line.
You know what? But
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You go deeper in the lineup. All I'm saying is this. Right now, they need something to get the attention of the players. I've been down this road before. How are they going to do it? I don't think it's going to be from a trade right now. I don't. I'd be surprised. I'd be really surprised. How do you get players' attention? You take a player and you either send them down or you get them out of town. I don't think they're going to do the out-of-town stuff yet. But I do think they can do something from the American Hockey League. Now, the Newhook injury makes it very convenient for them as a management group of what they need to do.
What if they would call up Davidson and Jackeye and put a player on waivers?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what
then you start to get people's attention.
You get the attention of the players in the room. That's right. I don't know how far Gooley is away or not. I know he's back skating, but I don't know how far he is. But they need him back. They need him back. Like, he's an important piece to this.
You mentioned Jackeye, by the way. I spoke with Cedric Blondin, who's the play-by-play guy for all of Al Rock at home games, of course, on our network on Sick Media and on the Sick Podcast. And they were actually in Springfield to play a game yesterday morning. And Cedric happened to be there. He went to catch the game because he's actually at the Patriots game tonight, watching the NFL game. And he said to me earlier this morning that it's probably the best game that Florian Jackeye played was yesterday. And on a line with Luke Tuck and Tyler Thorpe, they were very, very good. And that line yesterday had a real identity. They were probably Laval's most effective line in the 3-1 loss.
There you go.
And he wasn't intimidated by Logan Mailloux, and he wasn't intimidated by Milan Lucic, and he wasn't intimidated by the game. And he thought that Florian was very good last night.
And that's all I'm not. I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but I also am a realist in this whole thing. And this team right now has, and you heard Brian say it. He talked to Brendan Gallagher. He talked to Mike Matheson. He talked to Nick Suzuki. I think most of the players say that we've basically lost our identity right now. We got to find a way to get it back. One of the ways of getting it back is to get the roles created properly. And the coach has to do that. And the only way the management and the coaches can do that is to unfortunately make some hard decisions.
A year ago, they had a hard time without the puck. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And I said, I got confidence in Marty as the coach of the team, but I don't think that he can turn around the defensive play. I really believe they need a specialist. I really believe they need a defensive tactician. Come third week of December, those problems disappeared. And at the end of the season, or near the end of the season, you credited Roger Grillo. And you said to me, Roger Grillo was a big part of the Canadiens playing much better in their zone and much better without the puck. And they've had a really, really bad week. And a couple of days ago, last week, we found out that Roger Grillo is battling a cancer. And I've been thinking about him a lot lately, to tell you the truth. And he was the solution last year. And, I hope he's.
I talked to Roger last night.
Really?
I did. He was in Montreal last night. I talked to Roger last night, and we had a really good talk about a lot of things. And he's really encouraged. He loves being part of this organization. So the truth is that
send them our best, Pierre.
I will. They got some work to do. I mean, you don't overreact. It's an 82-game schedule. I get it, but I'm telling you, my concern is the Gooley situation is an issue, and the loss of identity for some of these players is an issue, and the Suzuki injury is a bit of an issue. He's hurt. He's not 100%.
Is anything in your opinion on the coach and some of the decisions?
No, because I think they really don't have a lot of wiggle room right now. This is they got to snap Lane into attention. Lane's gambling too much because he's trying to dominate games. And you're not going to want to hear this, but I'm telling you, this is a fact around the league. So it's not just Montreal-centric. It's around the league. And I've talked to so many different management people.
Contracts?
Players that are bubble players for the Olympics are trying to do way too much.
That makes sense to me.
It's a big, I'm telling you, nobody's written it. Nobody's talking about it. But management people and coaching people in the league are very aware of it. They're very aware of it.
Sometimes when you try and do too much, it backfires.
Correct.
15 years of history, one legendary celebration from world champions to record-breaking jackpots. Playground has always been where poker history unfolds. Now they're making the milestone with the 15-year anniversary series, December 4th to 16, featuring 15 trophy events and $850,000 guaranteed. Take your shot in the 1150 main event with $400,000 guaranteed. That's $1,150. Or go bounty hunting in the $300 mystery bounty with $150,000 guaranteed. Playground, 15 years of champions, and they're just getting started. Sick Podcast brought to you in part by Bittt Tibi. They launched a new ultra lager. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for those cool fall days with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. Ultra light, ultra refreshing. The stage is set for the Canadiens and the Bruins on Saturday. By the way, with their general manager, Don Sweeney, in attendance over the last couple of games to scout for Hockey Canada. Who do you have, the Canadiens or the Bruins? Go all the way with Betway. Get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 in your first deposit. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offers only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please play responsibly. Pierre, let's get to the Montreal Canadiens lineup tonight.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Suzuki with Slavkovsky and Caulfield, Kapanen with Demidov and Newhook, Doc with Gallagher and Bolduc, Evans with Veleno and Anderson, Matheson, Dobson, Struble, Hutson, Xhekaj, Carrier, and Jakub Dobeš got the start and goal. Let's take a look at the scoring on the night. All right, it's Wyatt Johnston on the power play for the Dallas Stars, 14:21 into period 1. Pierre, the way they passed that puck around from Rantanen to Hintz to Wyatt Johnston, Pierre, it was tick, tack, toe.
Yeah, well, it's beautiful because Wyatt Johnston's playing in the bumper position, and it's tic-tac goal, 100%. It's a great shot. It's great puck movement, and Montreal's playing the diamond, and they didn't collapse properly into the slot area, and Wyatt Johnston's all alone. He finishes the play off.
And prior to that, by the way, Casey DeSmith had made a couple of saves. One was off of Uri Slavkovsky in close, and another one was off of Kapanen at the right face-off circle. And so he came up pretty big tonight, Casey DeSmith. Made a lot of big saves. I think when we all saw Casey DeSmith playing instead of Jake Onger, we said, Canadiens are catching a break. They didn't catch a break. Mind you, Pierre McGuire could have been in goal tonight for the Dallas Stars, and they probably would have won anyway. Pierre, when Dallas scored, Kirby Dach was in the box.
Yeah. Okay.
He had 3 one-on-one battles, Pierre. He lost his first, he lost his second, and on the third, he held Jason Robertson and took a penalty.
Yep.
Josh Anderson on the PK down the right wing fed Jake Evans in the slot, a snapshot, a save by DeSmith, and then once again, that passing play. Pierre, that was a very bad sequence for Kirby Dach.
He had a couple of them tonight. I mean, look at it again. He's not the reason why they lost, but his consistency is an issue. He's got to be consistent. We talked about this 2 shows ago. He got on a run last year, right around Christmas, where he was a dominant player for Montreal. He was a dominant player. And then after that run, he cooled off. He's been a dominant player for a little while now. Looks like he's starting to cool off again. He's a player that you need to keep him hot. And if he doesn't stay hot, then it's a problem. And so he's going to have to adjust to what's going on. He has to learn from previous years. He does. He needs to learn from that.
A broken stick by Carrier. Doc hands him a stick. Doc takes a shot. He blocks a shot. He labors. And there's Faxa, Heiskanen, Lindell, Rister beats Jakub Dobeš. What do you think of that shot that beat Dobeš, Pierre?
I didn't like it. I mean, Ernesto Lindell's not a pure scorer. He's a defensive shutdown defenseman. That's what he is. I didn't like the goal. I mean, it's easy to blame the goalie, but I didn't like the goal. I mean, didn't like it.
The Sagan goal, Pierre, he sprung free on a breakaway once again. Lane Hutson is going for it. And he says, you know what? Let me try and create some offense here. But Pierre, tell me if I'm wrong, but Veleno goes deep down low. Slavkovsky has to recognize that Lane Hutson is going and says, I got to get back and I got to get the last man back. And by the way, I had loved Slavkovsky up until that point, Pierre. I thought he really bounced back after being in the doghouse last game. I thought he had a strong start to the game. I thought he had a great first period. But in that second period, Pierre, how does he not recognize that he's got to cover for Lane Hutson, instead goes to the bench for a line change?
Yeah, it's a period of the long change. He doesn't pay attention to it. Absolutely. I'm not sure the Canadiens communicated extremely well tonight. You could see that. There were some coverage breakdowns because guys were not communicating. So I would say that you're spot on. I would say you're spot on, Tony. And the biggest thing to me, everybody's kind of lost where they are right now as a group. They've lost. So the best way to get out of that spirited practice, lots of communication, less negativity, more positive energy. That's what they need. I don't know if they're going to be able to snap it back for the Boston game because Boston is going to come in hot and mad because they lost in Ottawa tonight. But that's kind of where they need to go. They need to get back on the same page, all of them.
Before they hit the ice tomorrow morning in Brassard, you're Marty St. Louis. What do you say to your team?
Positive tonight. Positive energy. We're going to learn from our mistakes. We're all going to work together. We're going to work our way out of it. But the number one thing we're going to do, we're all going to get back to our roles. We're going to understand our roles. We're going to communicate as a group. And I'm not beating them up tonight. I'm not. It's too early in the year. They've had a good run to start the year. But you cannot just cave these guys in early on. There's certain times during the year where you can do that. Right now is not the time.
Couple of goals by Jason Robertson. Let's go back to the score sheet. And Pierre, the second, by the way, what a game Jason Robertson had tonight. Holy jumping.
Well, the other night in Ottawa, too, he's starting to percolate now. This guy's starting to rip it up.
Well, this guy's got 100 points in him. He did it before. He could do it again. Well, Pierre, that second goal, Dobish has to stop that, Pierre.
He does, 100%. Dobish wasn't great tonight. You've already alluded to it correctly. Yeah. So Montembeault wasn't great either when he went in. I mean, he couldn't track the puck. He had a really tough time tracking the puck. So do they have a goalie issue? Probably not. I mean, the goalies are a lot like the team right now. They're kind of wayward right now. But it happens to every team in the league. Every team. I watched Edmonton tonight, Tony, and just so you know, I'm watching all these games. And I'm watching Edmonton. Like, you tell me, with their team, where's their team defense? Like, I'm just telling you, a goalie there, everybody's going to blame the goalies. Where's the team defense? I'm going to tell you right now, Montreal didn't have an identity defensively. They did not. They did not.
Pierre, most goalies in the league, are as good as their team plays in front of them.
Correct.
And I would say, with all due respect to Montembeault and Dobish, especially them. And when I say especially them, I'm trying to say their name's not Shesterkin. Their name's not Bobrovsky. Their name is not Connor Hellebuck. They're not in the league goalies in league. And by the way, some of the guys that were elite are struggling badly too right now. I mean, Vasilevsky right now can't stop a cab.
Well, you nailed something though. So you look at Tampa. Let's just use Tampa as an example.
Yeah.
Look at all the guys they have that are out of their lineup.
Correct.
And so to your point, because you nailed it, I really believe you nailed it. Think about it for 1 second. You talked about how you're only as good as the players in front of you. They're playing with a lot of American Hockey League players right now against a team that's like the other night. The New York Rangers are an urgent team. The Rangers go in there and beat them up. And why'd they beat them up? They beat them up because a lot of those guys are American Hockey League players. They're not NHL players. And that's kind of where you get in trouble. And so the goalie is the recipient of a lot of quality chances that are really not going to happen if there's an NHL team in front of them.
And by the way, for those who are wondering who's out for the Tampa Bay Lightning right now, Anthony Cirelli's out, Brandon Hagel is out, Victor Hedman is out, Ryan McDonough is out, Nick Paul is out, and I might be missing one or two.
That's a laundry list. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That definitely is a lot. Let's go back to the score sheet if we can. All right, third period. I think we all saw it coming that Jakub Dobish had given up 5 goals on 13 shots after 2 periods. Marty St. Louis, by the way, after he gave up his 5th pair, I think there was like 4 minutes left in period number 2 or whatever. He looks over at Trevor Letowski, I think they thought about it and they said, you know what, let's wait till after the second to do it. And so we'll bring less attention to it. But actually, can we go back for a second? I got to ask you a question. Go back to the score sheet for a second. Go back to period number 2. I want you to take a look at period number 2. Okay.
Yep.
2-0, 3:50 in, 3-0, 7:10 in. And then 8 minutes later, it's 4-0. And then 1:49 after that, it's 5-0. I'm going to ask you a question I've already asked you on a couple of occasions thus far this season. I think it's an area of improvement for Marty. Wouldn't you have called a timeout somewhere in between there to try and stop the bleeding and get the attention of your team?
Probably after the Sagan goal. I thought about it tonight, and I probably would have called a timeout right after that. You're down, 3-0 in the game, and I want to get the attention of the players. I want to decompress the bench a little bit. Want to get everybody singing from the same songbook. I get it. Sometimes you just lose it, but this is where.
But if you don't call a timeout, Pierre, you can go for a goalie change there.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different things you can do. Mike Keenan was a king of that. Trust me. Peter Laviolette utilized the TV timeouts and the timeouts better than anybody else I've ever seen. Laviolette was an ace in that. He was so good at it. But they've chosen not to do that. The one thing I'd say, though, just out of defense of the coaches, is or the head coach in particular, that's where your assistants, and I've been through this. I've walked the line like this. Sometimes you got to remind the head coach, like, we could use a timeout here. We need to slow this thing down. We need to get our guys calmed down. Now, I'm not saying they didn't do that, but I'm just telling you, Tony, I've been down that road with the winningest coach of all time. And sometimes you just go up and say, hey, with all due respect, you might need a timeout here. And so it's just, everybody's got their own opinion on it. I would say that you're probably right on this situation. And so it's something that they need to take under advisement long term.
Tonight at the Bell Center was no contest, but we have a contest going on at the Sick Podcast, and a good one because, of course, as you know, the snow came down a couple of days ago, and it's going to continue to come down over the next couple of weeks. It's we're there, folks. It's wintertime, and you have to put on your winter tires before the 1st of December. Well, Point S and GT Radial are offering you the chance to win. This is a great contest. This is one of those times where I wish I wasn't hosting and I was watching, so I'd be eligible for the contest, which obviously I'm not. So Point S and GT Radial are offering you the chance to win a new set of GT Radial winter tires, plus free installation at a Point S garage, a total value of $1,000. In order to participate, go to the Sick Podcast Instagram page and like and comment on the pin post. Follow on Instagram the Sick Podcast and Point S. The contest will end this Sunday, November 16th. Your trusted garage for complete vehicle care. Speaking of Sunday, I will be at one of Pierre McGuire's favorite spots in Montreal, Sir Winston's Churchill Pub. I will be at Winnie's this Sunday. What am I going to do there? I'm going to watch the Grey Cup. I'm going to watch the Montreal Alouettes and the Saskatchewan Roughriders battle in Winnipeg for the Grey Cup, and cross my fingers that the Alouettes win their second Grey Cup in 3 seasons. And so I've been invited there. I'm going to be there, and we're going to have our social media team there, and we're going to talk to a lot of you before the game, during the game, and after the game, and hopefully we can do so in a winning environment, which Montreal definitely needs to get back to. So that's where I'm going to be on Sunday, on the 16th. That's not all. Guess where I'm going to be on the 19th? I'm going to be at Cafe Milano's on Wednesday, November 19th at 1 p.m. I'm going to be at Cafe Milano's, and we're going to do a live show from Cafe Milano's. So I hope that you can all join me there. And, of course, we are going to be at the location on Jarry Street in St. Leonard. So once again, I hope you can join me there. So I'll be at Winnie's on Sunday night and at Cafe Milano on Jarry and St. Leonard on Wednesday afternoon. We got a busy schedule. Pierre, I want to take a look at the event summary, take a look at some individual numbers. I've circled some of them to bring to your attention here. For the benefit of those who are listening and won't be watching, Pierre, that won't have the chart in front of them, talk to us about some of the numbers that you see on the chart and some of them that you think are pretty concerning.
I like the 4 shots by Souvlaki. I'm really troubled by the -3 for Anderson. I'm really troubled by the -4 for Hutson. That's -7, as you correctly said, over 2 games. It was a no-hitter for Oliver Kapanen tonight. That can't happen for a guy that you want to audition for the second center position. That's a bit of an issue. The face-off play, obviously, you look at it, Suzuki really struggling. Newhook, obviously, injured. You look at Bolduc, you look at Veleno. The face-off situation is really troubling for all the centermen if you really look at it. So there's enough. This was not a good night for the team. I think you know that. I know that, and the fans know that.
33% in the circle for Nick Suzuki. I feel bad for him because, of course, with Hockey Canada brass watching, he only won 4 of 12 faceoffs on the night. Alex Newhook had won 1 of 4 faceoffs at 25%. He only played 54 because, of course, he went out with what appears to be a significant injury to either his right knee or his right ankle. Brian's guessing right ankle. I have the same guess. Canadiens didn't tell us. They did tell us that they don't have any information right now, and he's being evaluated. 25% in the circle for Kirby Dach, who only won 2 of 8. 25% for Joe Veleno, who won 1 of 4. 43% for Oliver Kapanen, who won 3 of 7. Pierre, Bolduc is concerning. You talked to me about identity.
Mm-hmm.
He scored 19 goals last year. You know that with the St. Louis Blues. He comes in the first 4 games on the road. He scores a goal in each game. He's got 4 goals in the first 4 games on the road. His ice time goes up and down to a point where it got really, really low. It was about 9 minutes, went back up, got a little bit back down, 14:29. Nothing significant in terms of ice time tonight. But Pierre, it's 2 games in a row. He doesn't have a shot on goal. The guy scored over 50 twice in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. He scored 19 goals last year as a rookie. He's got one of the best shots on the team. And it almost seems like it's obviously he's struggling with consistency, but I'm wondering if, and I don't blame them for taking him off the first wave of the power play because it got a heck of a lot better when they put Demidov on it. But what can they do to get him going, Pierre? Speaking of getting guys going.
He's one that needs to get going 100%. And you're not, everything you just touched on is spot on. Taking him off the first power play probably was a ding to his confidence because he really didn't warrant that. He was getting points. He was producing. He was making a difference. His shot was a factor. I would say his puck pursuit was really a factor, and his physicality was a factor. You take him off of that, you almost take away a little bit of his energy because now all of a sudden he's saying, what did I do wrong? So you got to rebuild him. You got to build him. Marty knows this, by the way, because he went through this as a player himself. So they got to rebuild him. They got to build him back up. I like to see some changes with the lines. I think that's probably going to happen. Maybe it happens tomorrow on the off day. Maybe it happens on Saturday before the Boston game. But they're going to have to get him back on board. He's an important player for this team because he's a big kid. He's young. He's got a lot of energy. He can shoot the puck. But you said something that's so spot on, Tony. He can be physical. He can be physical with skill. And we're not seeing a lot of that right now.
Pierre, at a time when a lot of people are talking about second line, third line, fourth line, it seems like the Canadiens right now don't have 2 lines. We've talked about their lack of identity on their fourth.
Yep.
And they don't have a real second. Like if Demidov, Kapanen, and Newhook would have stayed together, they could be your third. This is catching up with them, Pierre. Right now, they don't have a second, and they don't have a fourth. Now, I don't know if a call-up of 1 or 2 players can actually fix that fourth, but do you agree with that, Pierre? They got a first right now.
Yes, I do, and I've been saying it for a little while now, but this is where Bolduc gets an opportunity, and you don't wish an injury on anybody, but Newhook's that's an injury, and he's not coming back for Saturday. There's no way. That's where Bolduc gets an opportunity to play with Demidov and with Kapanen. I would believe. I could be wrong. Maybe they go somewhere else, but I think that's what they do. And it gives Bolduc an opportunity. It's almost like a reprieve from the governor. You get an opportunity to go and play with higher-end players. You get an opportunity to play higher up in the lineup. We'll see whether he can produce off that or not. They got to find a way to get Jake. I'm just saying, Jake Evans. I would put Jake Evans, Anderson, and Gallagher in a check and roll and say, boys, this is what we need from you. We don't need any points from you. We need tight check and we need energy. You're going to play more than the most depth lines would in the league, but this is what you need to do.
Okay, but even at that, hold on a second here. Hold on. Time out.
Yep.
Let's say you put him in a checking role.
Yep.
When you say a checking role, do you mean a shutdown role or do you mean a fourth line role?
No, a checking role, meaning a shutdown role. 100%.
A shutdown role. Okay, so you have them in a shutdown role.
Yep.
So you got the first line. Now you have a shutdown line.
Yep.
Now you need a second line, which is an offensive line.
Bolduc, Kapanen, and Demidov.
That's your second line.
Yeah.
and now you need the energy line.
Yeah.
And the energy line, you'll have left Doc and Veleno.
No, I think I'm bringing up Jared David.
No, but I'm saying right now with what they have.
Oh, with what they have.
After doing the process of elimination of the lines you just told me, Doc and Veleno are left.
But this is why I'm telling you, I think I said to you, well, I don't think, I know I said to you before, I'm micromanaging my roster and I'm shaking the tree. I'm getting the attention of the players. Whether I have to bring up Davidson, whether I have to bring up Davidson and Florian Jack-Eye, I'm getting proactive with my roster. And no disrespect meant to Joe Veleno. None at all. I'm giving him a little seat time, or I'm putting him on waivers because I think he'll clear.
Starting to wonder if he does. Starting to wonder if Joe will ever play in the league again.
Well, I don't know. Like, I can't worry about that. Like, that's when you're managing a team.
Yeah.
With all due respect, you don't worry about that stuff.
I hear you, of course.
How am I going to fix my team?
Yeah, they gave him his up. Listen, he knows like he needs to. He either needs to produce or become a Jake Evans kind of player.
I know I said it to you. I know I said it to you guys the other night. I don't know how my audio was when I said it to you. When Edmondson scores a goal, and Evans loses the faceoff, and he doesn't get in the shooting lane, and he had more than enough time because that puck went from the left defense, Brant Clark, to the right defense, Joel Edmondson. You have so much time to get out there because there's zero obstruction from LA at that time. He chose not to go body on stick. That's a right-hand shot playing on the right side. That's the easiest read in the rink. Easiest read in the rink. I know the guy shot it at 96 miles an hour. I get it. Nobody's going to care about that. You got to get in the lane. You didn't get in the lane.
Winter is here, and you're going to need a slush buster because, of course, your vehicle is probably going to be full of ice. And the new innovative snow brush designed to tackle winter's mess with ease. From heavy slush to stubborn ice, the Slush Buster clears it all quickly, keeping your car clean and your hands dry. Smarter, stronger, and built for Canadian winters. I want you to go to this website right now because believe me when I tell you, you've never had a winter brush like the Slush Buster. www.slushbuster.ca. That's why we're talking about it, because it's really good. Because if it was just another brush, we wouldn't be talking about it, to tell you the truth. All right, okay. Hockey stat card. Let's bring it up. Pierre, we liked Uri Slafkovsky, other than the fact that he didn't take information. There probably wasn't a lot of communication. Instead of covering for Lane Hutson, he went to the bench. But take a look, Pierre, at the individual offense, way above every other player on the Montreal Canadiens. Mm-hmm. Take a look at the individual defense, way above any other player on the Montreal Canadiens. Defense above average, just a little bit more than Nick Suzuki. A good night for Uri Slafkovsky. Lane Hutson, very difficult night, Pierre. Mm-hmm. Very difficult night in terms of team offense above average, and very difficult night in terms of team defense above average. Also struggling was Alex Carrier. Jaden Struble, Lane Hutson's defense partner, had a difficult night as well. And Oliver Kapanen did not have his best night either, Pierre. So there you have it. Actually, statistically, not a bad night in terms of advanced stats for Arbor Jack-Eye. Out of all Montreal Canadiens defensemen, he was actually probably the one who, wasn't hurting as much as the others. But not working for him. He tried to get his hands on Lyubushkin, who said, no, listen, I want no part of you. So I'm just going to put you in a headlock, and we're going to end this thing right away. Pierre, clearly, let me ask you this. You're Marty St. Louis. Not to advocate violence here, but you're getting destroyed in your home rink in front of your fans. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 after 2. 6-0 early in the third. 7-0. You want to see your team drop the gloves? You want to see your team do something?
Well, I don't want my whole team to do. But this is where we talk about roles.
Okay.
I don't want my whole team doing it.
Okay.
but there's certainly, I'll give you an example. So Josh Anderson got mad at Bischel, okay? He got mad at him because Bischel was dominating him defensively. He was manhandling him. And Josh isn't used to somebody doing that. And Josh lost it. He lost it on him. Rather than losing on him by slashing him, do something else. You know, this is what I'm saying. Like, they got to snap these guys to attention. There's some bad habits creeping in. It's okay. It happens with every team. But this is where you got to – the easiest thing to do in the National Hockey League, Tony, and I can speak to it from experience, the easiest thing to do is coach a winning team. The hardest thing to do in the NHL is to coach your team out of a losing streak and bad habits. They're in bad habits right now.
Yeah.
And they've lost 2 games in a row where they've been throttled at home. They haven't just been beaten, they've been throttled. So this is where coaching matters. And I've told you many times, both on and off the air, a coach needs to make the difference in between 10 and 20 points over the course of a season with decision making.
Yes.
Whether it's line matches, whether it's putting guys in the stands, whether it's strategic adjustments, whatever it is, you got to make the difference between 10 and 20 points in the standings as a coach.
Yeah.
So this is where they got to do that.
By the way,
need to get involved.
For those wondering, Bischel went 18th in the draft, the year of the Souvlaki draft. So that's a really good pick by Dallas because this guy is like 8 foot 1,000. Like he's what? He's a 6'7", Pierre?
6'7". Mm-hmm.
He covers a lot of wingspan. This guy he's a handful, Pierre.
He's tough. So they have guys like, look at Thomas Harley, look at Bischel, look at Miro Heiskanen. There's no weak links in the back. Lyubushkin was a really good pickup. They knew him because he played a lot in the West. He had some time with Toronto. They see him. I can tell you right now, when I was in management in the league, Lyubushkin was a guy that I thought would be a really good 5'6" guy on your team. So they've done Jimmy Neal's done a really nice job picking defensemen with size, with range, with nastiness. Jiri Lehtinen doesn't get enough credit, but he's part of that management team. And you know, Miro Heiskanen. Look at all the Finns there: Rope Hintz, Mikko Rantanen, Miro Heiskanen. Like, they've done an amazing job in Finland. Jiri Lehtinen is a big part of that. He's a big part of that.
Heiskanen is 6'2".
Yep.
Lyubushkin is 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
Bischel is 6'7".
Yep.
Harley is 6'3".
Mm-hmm.
Is that the template, Pierre, for winning games in the playoffs?
Look at Dallas. The last 3 years they've been to the Western Conference Final.
Lindell 6'3". That's a big decor, man.
That's how you win. And this is why I'm saying, I told you this a couple of years, maybe even last year. You can't have too many guys under 6 feet tall. You know, and right now in Montreal, you got Cole Caulfield, who's obviously an elite player, and you got Lane Hutson. Those are 2 guys well under 6 feet.
Yeah, and Brendan Gallagher and Alex Newhook. You
can't afford too many guys. Like, if you want to go deep, you know, it's just nobody wants to hear it, but it's a fact. It's the truth.
But after seeing that decor tonight, could the Canadiens use one other big defenseman?
Yeah, 100%. You know, and they might have it internally. They might. You know, like, Ryan Backer's going to take time. Edstrom's going to be a good player. Like, they got guys internally, but it takes time. And, you know, I know people are, like, laughing at the Logan Mailloux, Zach Bolduc trade. Are they really laughing at it? It takes time for guys to mature on defense. You know, I know at the beginning of the year it was cool to mock what St. Louis did, but let's see where it's at in 2 or 3 years. Let's see where it is. Don't be too quick to judge trades. The one thing I'd say, though, is Montreal misses Caden Gooley a ton. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
And I know people don't want to talk about it, but they miss that guy a ton.
Pierre, 7 goals in the hockey game. Why don't we take 7 questions before we call it a night? All right, let's do that. All right, number 1, Luke sends over 1399. Thank you very much. Tony and Pierre, thank you for all your analysis. Hope for a quick recovery for Newhook, Liney, and Gooley. Believe in the system and the team. They will turn it around.
I think they can. I really do. I believe that. It just, again, they got to snap people to attention. I think one of the ways of doing that is to send a message internally. Like, you're going down in the American League, or you're being traded out of town, or you're going on waivers. I think at some point they're going to have to shake the tree here. It's a lot like Toronto. I've been saying it in Toronto for 2 weeks now. They need to shake the tree. And this is before all these losses. I'm saying the same thing in Montreal now. I'm seeing the same trend happening.
Question 2. Orile, I think. Tony, are you going to call your mother tomorrow? I have no idea who I'm going to call tomorrow. I have no idea. But you know what? Desperate times call for desperate measures. I got to do something, I think. Number 3. Bobby, who do the Habs call up, Tony? I think Davidson for sure, because he's played the best hockey. But then again, sometimes you probably have to fill your need a little bit more. Pierre, you said Florian?
Yeah, I want energy. I want guys who are going to bring it, total physical intensity. I don't like this team getting pushed around. LA pushed them around. I thought they got pushed around tonight. I want somebody who's going to send a distinct message. There's no pushing around, especially in our own building. Like, you can't get pushed around in your own. I worked for Brian Burke. He had the best line ever. We might lose games, but we're never getting pushed around in games. And we didn't. I'm telling you right now, we never did. And that's an important part of this thing right now. Teams think they can manhandle Montreal, and that's the only way to beat them at the speed game. Take their speed out of the game by manhandling them. You got to send a message to the other team. That's not going to happen.
4. Vinny. Tony, do they need a trade to shake things up? Pierre, what are the chances of trades in the middle of November? I don't remember seeing a lot of those, Pierre. I could be wrong.
No, you're not wrong, but you need to have a dance partner in there. You know, I don't think Montreal and Toronto are making a trade anytime soon. I don't think Montreal and Boston are making a trade. I don't think Montreal and anybody in the Atlantic are making a trade anytime soon. But I could see Utah maybe being urgent to make a deal. I could see Calgary being urgent to make a deal. I could see maybe, I don't know, Vancouver urgent to make a deal. But Minnesota maybe. I don't know, but no, it's hard to make a deal in November. It's before U.S. Thanksgiving. It's hard to make a deal. It's hard
because teams are still trying to figure out what kind of team they are before they make that deal.
What kind of team they have? Exactly.
5. Jessica, how many times has Lane Hutson caught pinching? Mm-hmm. Anyone know? It's nearly every game.
Jessica, great point.
If Jessica missed it, you talked about something earlier on, Olympics. Talk to us about that again.
So players that are potential Olympic candidates, whether it's for Sweden, Canada, Czech Republic, Slovakia, it doesn't matter. Guys that are on the bubble are trying to do a lot. It's something that I talked to with hockey management people at the All-Star game. It's something, or not the All-Star game, excuse me, at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Stuff that I've talked to management people over the last couple of days on the phone. They're seeing a trend around the league where guys that are bubble players are trying to do too much, and they're getting themselves into trouble. I'm not saying that's happening with Lane, but I worry about that because you see he's the riverboat gambler now. He really is. He's way, way over his skis in terms of trying to manufacture offense. He definitely.
We'll take 2 more questions, but I want to talk to you about a great upcoming charity event, and we'll bring it up if we can. The Barks and Bubbly event. Look at that. Okay, so keep it there. It's a cocktail style evening on November 21st at the Atwater Club from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., raising funds to help dogs rescued from shelters and given a second chance at life. Guests can expect amazing music, delicious food, open bar all night, and fun interactive stations, including custom dog portraits, engraved merch, and friendship bracelets. Tickets are $100. Tax receipts are available. And to buy your tickets, you go on Instagram and you take a look at Accent My Event, and that's where you can buy your tickets. On that Instagram page, there is a link at the bottom, which you see at www.zeffy.com, and that's where you can buy your tickets for that event. All right, okay, so Rescue the That's a great event. Pierre, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk to you about the passing of Larry Brooks earlier today. Your thoughts on what can you tell us?
Well, he had a great connection to the New Jersey Devils. He worked in their organization for a long time, almost 11 years. He had a great connection to the New York Rangers. I saw a quote from ownership today in New York saying that at the end of every year, Larry would come in at the invitation of ownership, what he liked, what he didn't like about the New York Rangers. It reminds me a lot of what Red Fisher used to do when he was living in Montreal and covering the Canadiens. I think quietly behind the scenes, a lot of management people asked Red what his thoughts. So that's a pretty good comparable. I knew Larry really well. I never really had to deal with him on the media side of things. He was always a gentleman to me, but I didn't really know him very well. I just knew his work. I mean, his column was a must-read. There are a few writers. Red Fisher's column was always a must-read. Kevin Paul Dupont was always a must-read on the English side. Larry Brooks was always a must-read on the English side. And Helene Elliott out in Los Angeles was a must-read. Those were kind of the must-reads on the English side, and Larry was definitely part of that.
Amazing stuff, Pierre. Two more questions. One of them said $13.99 over, I think. Do we have that? Yeah. Robert Mahoney. Question for Pierre. When do you think they call it Fowler? Or should they make a play for UC Saros?
No, I would not make a play for UC Saros. I do think UC Saros will be in play. I won't tell you how I know that, but I do think he will be in play. I think there'll be other teams that will have more of an interest in paying a higher price for him. I don't think that's the difference between Montreal being a cup contender and not being a cup contender. And I wouldn't be in a rush to pull up Fowler right now. Let him just keep going the way he's going. Development's a critical part of this for a young goalie. He's going to be great. And if you don't believe me, look at the difference between Boston College this year compared to Boston College last year. They're not nearly the same team. And part of that's Ryan Leonard's in Washington, Gabe Perreault's in Hartford for the Rangers farm team. But the biggest thing they missed right there in Boston College, they missed Jacob Fowler.
You know what I really like this year? Lucas Dostal. He's played really good, I find.
Yeah, he has. Anaheim's going to be, I think they're the most improved team in the league. A lot of it is Dostal. I totally agree with you, Tony. Another part of it is their speed at the forward position is really good. The leadership of Troy Terry, Chris Kreider, Alex Killorn has made a huge difference there for those young players. And you look at the way Cutter Gauthier is playing. You look at the way Mason McTavish is playing. You look at the way Leo Carlson's playing. Their young players are dominant players, but they have mentorship with older guys that are helping them.
Another guy who's blown me away. I don't think he's going to be the number one for Canada, but he might. Because Logan Thompson's been really good.
I think right now Logan Thompson's going to be on the team. I
no doubt about it.
No, I believe that. I mean, Right now, if you look at it, who's better than him right now that's a Canadian goalie? I don't think anybody right now. So
no.
I think he will be.
Kemper's been good, but he hasn't been as good as Logan Thompson.
But I think Kemper's going to beat out Sam Montembeault.
I think so too, Pierre. I think so too. I think your goalies are Binnington, Logan Thompson, and Kemper. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's any question.
I agree with you.
Two more questions, and we'll end this thing. Bert says, Pierre, did losing Armia and Dvorak hurt more than expected? Evans is not the same player since Armia left, and Dvorak not winning draws and getting puck possession is hurting the Canadiens a ton.
I think, don't overread on Armia. Dvorak, I think, in the face-off situations hurts a little bit. Not so much team-oriented, just face-off wise. Jake's going to have – this is part of what we're talking about before. Jake's got to get his identity back as a player. Jake's not an offensive player. Jake's going to be a checker, face-off guy, penalty-killing savant. And that's fine. They'll get it. You'll see. Don't overreact. But do I think they missed both? Not really. They're going to have to turn their roster over anyways. That's just – they got too many young guys. What are you going to do when Michael H gets here? That's part of the deal. Sometimes you got to take a little step back, but I don't think it's going to be for long. I just don't think it'll be for long.
Let's go to our last question of the night. Yorku says, do you think that they destroyed Dobish's confidence by forcing Montembeault and net while Dobish was 6-0 with a 164?
No, I don't think so. Again, if that's going to be the way they destroyed his confidence, then he's not going to be a goalie in the NHL.
That's a good point.
That's like that should not be an issue. My concern, and I said it to Tony, the night in New Jersey when he, I think, emotionally overreacted, they got to figure that one out. And he's got to figure that one out. That's not something you want to see from your starting goalie. I'm sorry, not in a regular season game. Every night can't be the Super Bowl. It just can't. That's just not how it works in the league.
Pierre McGuire, thank you very much for doing this, Pierre. Have a great couple of days in Montreal, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Tony. I really appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, Pierre. That was fantastic. Pierre McGuire, who gave us 75 minutes tonight on, of course, the Habs postgame show right here on the Sick Podcast. Special thanks to all of our sponsors. Energy Transportation Group is one. Playground is another. Bittt Tibi is another. Betway is another. The Slush Buster. And check them out on their website. The great contest that we have with Point S and GT Radial, offering you the chance to win a new set of GT Radial winter tires, plus free install at a Point S garage, a total value of $1,000. Pierre McGuire was brought to you by Restaurant Vago on Green Avenue and de Maisonneuve. Brian Wilde was brought to you by Fruiterie de l'Art, a family-run business in LaSalle since 1995. And we want to thank all of them. We also want to let you know once again that on Sunday night, I'm going to be at Winnie's to watch the Grey Cup game and to watch the Alouettes. I hope you can join me. I hope we can watch it together and enjoy a Grey Cup win. That would be nice. On Wednesday, the 19th, I'm going to be at Cafe Milano's on Jerry Street in St. Leonard at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and I hope you can join me for that. There's going to be a live show. I look forward to it. Cafe Milano's, of course, proud sponsor of the Sick Podcast. We're very, very happy to have them. Special thanks to all of you for watching. Tonight was not pretty. Last game was difficult. Tonight was an utter disaster. The Canadiens lose by a score of 7-0. They look like the Washington Generals. The Dallas Stars look like the Harlem Globetrotters. And the Canadiens have a lot of fine-tuning to do. They got to fix this thing and try and fix it as soon as possible. Like Pierre McGuire said, both goaltenders, their confidence is low. Their fourth line doesn't have an identity. It looks like right now they have a first line. It looks like they don't have a second. But in the meantime, they have a third that has to be the second. And once again, they're 2 lines short. They're a couple of identities short. They need Caden Gooley back. Patrick Liney's out. And it looks like Alex Newhook is going to be out as well. We'll know a little bit more tomorrow, I hope. We wish him all the best. It didn't look good. He got tripped. He went into the boards pretty fast. And it looked like his ankle may have twisted, or maybe... We'll see. We'll cross our fingers for Alex Newhook, who was having a great start to the season. 12 points in his first 17 games of the season. But this is not good. What is good is an upcoming charity event, Barks and Bubbly. Once again, a cocktail-style evening on November 21st at the Atwater Club from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tickets are $100. Tax receipts are available. And it's raising funds to help dogs rescued from shelters and given a second chance at life. Go on Instagram to accent my event. There's a link below, and that's where you can purchase your tickets. Thanks for being with me. I hope that you'll be with me tomorrow night. Brian Wilde's going to be one of my guests. And tomorrow morning, I'll be back en français à 10h le matin avec d'autres collaborateurs. Puis ça va être un show, une émission très intéressante. J'espère que vous serez des nôtres. Merci beaucoup. Bonne soirée à vous. Thank you. Have a good night. Habs lose 7-0. Is this a joke?
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. Bittt. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.